Hello and welcome to the end of day 17. Today has been a day of refactoring, and let me just take you through what I've done. So I've restructured the project like so. So the server project, subproject looks a little bit more organized, as you can probably tell. And now I have introduced this external folder where I have cloned each of the repositories that I depend on in this project and have added these as GitHub submodules. And I'm using the main branch of each of these, which includes some unreleased features, because essentially the Pipecat team ships features like maniacs. It's quite impressive. Let me actually show you the situation with that. So this is the last, let's find the last version, shall we, in the history here. There we go. That's the last released version. And we're all the way up here now. And with flows, that's the last released version. And Mark has been busy and he's released some really cool features and I want to use them. And I also really enjoy it when my code breaks like every single day and I have to just rewrite it. And that's a good time. And also I learn a lot doing that. So it's another reason. Another reason also, actually, there's some I guess, side effects, which are also advantageous here. So I can actually more easily refer to the latest source, just go in the same project and go to definition and find it in the source. That was a bad example, but you can do that. And also I can reference the files of the source code and ask the AI questions about it in the same project. That's pretty cool. So let's have a look at some of the recent changes here. So yesterday, interestingly, there was a change made where the TTS parameter of the flow manager constructor is now deprecated and it's going to be removed in a future version. And the TTS say action, which I talked about yesterday, it says it now pushes a TTS speak frame. That's interesting because I said yesterday that that's what it does, pushes a TTS speak frame. And I was using an old package version then. So it seems like I might have been wrong yesterday, but I'm right now. So all's well that ends well. The other thing that he has shipped is this awesome feature. This is a context strategy. So what that means, as I was explaining yesterday, when you switch from node to node, the role messages, let me show you the role messages actually. So there's role messages here, which have actually moved to the prompts thing. Role messages and task messages both get appended to context. So the context actually gets very long. And if you move back and forth between nodes, that still happens. And you just end up with a lot of tokens being used potentially for no reason. Now, this is the right one now. Okay, so here you can see they've added this feature as yet unreleased, where you can either append new messages, which was the default behavior, or you can reset, which clears it out and just adds the most recent ones, or you can reset with a summary, which includes a LLM generated summary. So I've changed my code to reset it here. So if we have a look, I can show you in the changes, maybe in the flowbot changes. Yeah. So you can see I removed the TTS. I haven't actually looked into what they've done there, but presumably they're just going to use the TTS from the pipeline now instead of this. And I've added a context strategy where the default context strategy is to reset the context every time you switch from node to node. And the other thing about it is you can also have per node config. So you can override that in the nodes if you need a different strategy in your flow. The other thing that I did in the base bot, among other things, I've added the STT mute filter to the pipeline. So when the pipeline is built, it goes in there before the speech to text. So then I've also got the strategy mute first speech and function calls, so you can't interrupt it when it says the first thing. Another thing I did, which I believe will be, no, it's in the base bot. Right, so previously I was having issues where if the bot had an error happen while you were chatting to it, and you then left the chat, let me actually show you the difference, it'll probably help. So right here, I used to have it running the stop when done method. The thing is, if there's an error, there are going to be dangling tasks that the bot can't handle. So it wasn't gracefully closing down then and was leaving some rooms on daily for me. Now, this is actually the right way of doing it based on the example code. And it just stops the task when a participant leaves. So when I leave, it closes everything down. The other thing I've done, as I indicated earlier, is I've moved towards composable prompts. So now in Flow, since the role messages are cleared out at every step, I've inserted them for now at the top in each node. And then I'm going to be moving all these task messages also into this prompts where I can manage them centrally, and then I can compose the simple prompt based on these as well as composing the flow based on these modularized prompts. Another thing I've done in here is I've added support for the Cartesia text-to-speech module, and that is also modified in the config, which is now settings. So you can set that by setting your TTS provider to Cartesia and providing a Cartesia API key. So the code is now restructured, so all the bot code is here, configuration goes here, prompts are going to go here. This is where the third-party integrations go. The Calicom API isn't actually used at the moment, but this all code actually works. This is like the easiest part to do, like well-documented APIs. Just like tools, replacing like automation stuff from NA10 and Make is just super easy. You can like mostly one-shot this with your favorite LLM these days. This is the run helper that the main function uses to actually start sub-processes. And this is the main function that runs the server. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I guess the only thing left is go through the next steps. So I have to finish the prompt engineering, first of all. That's the first thing. And then next, let me just take you through how the existing widget works. So this is my website, and on my website, there's a widget. And when you click on the widget, you start a call with Vappy, and then you have a little chat to the agent for as long as you want. Well, as long as the call flow will allow you to, actually. And then at the end of that, Vappy will send an end of call report over into a Google Apps script, which lives within my Google account. And the Google Apps script will then pick some fields from the end of call report, send it to my Gmail account, and also log the call to a sheet. Now, as well as sorting out that end of call report, most of which I can get from the transcript, and then run a chat completion with OpenAI to get the end of call report summary that I need and all the fields I need structured in the output from there. I also need to handle call recordings. To do that, I need to sign up with Daily and then check that out, and they'll handle that for me. And the other thing I'll need to do is set up my own VPS to replace Vappy, where I will run the server that I've been building here, this thing. And then that should be done. So yeah, those are the outstanding tasks, and I shall be getting to those for the rest of, for as long as it takes, I guess.